The HOA thief, a neighborhood betrayal. It began with a missing hammer, then a patio chair, then half the neighborhood noticed their stuff vanishing without a trace. But when one man set a trap, he uncovered a shocking truth. The thief was the last person anyone expected, and she controlled the entire community. My name's Tom Bradley, a 53-year-old electrician who spent most of his life fixing other people's problems. That week in our quiet Colorado suburb, I was wrestling with my own. On Monday, I came home from a job rewiring a lake house to find my trash cans tipped over. I blamed raccoons. By Wednesday, I noticed my new hammer was gone from the garage. I tore the place apart, thinking I'd misplaced it. No luck. I even drove back to a job site in Longmont to check. Nothing. Tools go missing sometimes. CSRE tired. You're careless, you move on. Friday hit me harder. My favorite patio chair, a heavy wrought iron piece I'd bought for my wife Susan's birthday, was gone from the backyard. It had been chained to the deck post, more out of habit than necessity. The chain was still there, cut clean. No footprints, no tire marks, nothing on my cheap security camera. I stood there, coffee going cold, feeling like I was losing my mind. This wasn't random. Someone was targeting us. I posted in the neighborhood HOA chat, asking if anyone else had lost anything. Within hours, replies flooded in. My neighbor Linda reported her pressure washer missing. Mike, 2 houses down, lost a set of pruning shears. A woman across the street said her kid's bike vanished from their porch. All the reports came from our side of the block. The HOA president, Diane Foster, jumped in with a polished response. She blamed careless storage and proposed new rules. No outdoor equipment left visible, mandatory lockups, and fines for inviting theft. She even scheduled a compliance check. It felt too quick, too convenient. Diane's tones mug, almost gleeful, set my teeth on edge. I got a fine for unsecured property because of the chair. I emailed the HOA board, demanding to see the rules documentation. No reply. Diane sent a curt note. Guidelines in your mailbox by Monday. Noncompliance will result in escalation. It was a threat, plain and simple. I wasn't buying it. If someone was slipping into my yard, bypassing locks, and dodging cameras, they had access. They knew our homes. They knew us. Diane, who made a hobby of inspecting and fining everyone, was starting to look less like a busybody and more like a suspect. Saturday morning, scrolling OfferUp over coffee, I froze. There was my hammer, same brand, same chipped handle from when I dropped it last summer. The seller, Jane 1982, had no profile picture, just 2 listings, my hammer and a leaf blower that looked like Mike's. The ad was tagged 10 miles away, in a Walmart parking lot. I called my buddy Ray, a retired cop who now spends his days fishing and arguing at Home Depot. Want to play buyer? I asked. His voice sharpened. Hell yeah. Ray set up a meeting using a burner account. The seller agreed to noon, driving a gray Toyota RAV4. I parked across the lot in my truck, watching as Ray, in a Rockies cap and sunglasses, met the seller. A woman stepped out, middle-aged, hoodie, dark glasses. She handed over the hammer, barely spoke, and left. Ray walked back, face grim. Recognize the car? He asked, showing me the plate. J7LP92. I'd seen it at HOA meetings, parked like it owned the street. It was Diane Foster's. We didn't confront her. One item could be a fluke, a misunderstanding. We needed more. Back home, I stared at the hammer, my gut churning. If Diane was stealing, she wasn't just bold, she was organized. I decided to set a trap. I had an old DeWalt laser level, a pricey model with a scratch lens, perfect for identification. I tucked it in a toolbox in the shed, left the gate unlatched, and hid a pinhole camera under the eaves. A second camera, motion-triggered, went inside the shed. Then I waited. 6 days, nothing. I kept up my routine work, lawn mowing, nodding to neighbors. Diane patrolled as usual, posting in the HOA chat about unsightly storage behind my shed. I replied with a smiley face and did nothing. On the 7th night, at 2:17 a.m., the camera pinged. The footage showed a figure in a hoodie and gloves slip through the gate, open the toolbox, and take the laser level. I zoomed in. Blonde hair peeked from the hood, and her jacket had the HOA logo, custom gear Diane gave board members years ago. 3 days later, the laser level popped up on Facebook Marketplace under Tina Tools. The photo showed my shed siding in the background. She hadn't even cropped it. Fury settled into focus. Diane had keys, confidence, and a system. She thought she was untouchable. I started talking to neighbors, casually at first. Ever find that pressure washer? What happened to your smoker? Stories poured out: missing ladders, patio heaters, even a mailbox. All from our side of the block. Most hadn't reported it. Diane had told them not to clog the police with small claims. One neighbor, Ellen, said Diane showed up with a clipboard the day her grill vanished, doing a compliance check. I built a spreadsheet: names, items, dates, values. I found 25 matches on Craigslist and OfferUp, all tied to burner accounts. Two used an old HOA email for password resets. Diane was sloppy. Ray and I spent nights in my garage, piecing it together. He traced IPs and payment methods. I collected neighbor statements. One woman forwarded an email where Diane offered to dispose of a broken vacuum that wasn't broken. It vanished overnight. Another had a message from Diane asking about a bike on their porch, saying it attracted thieves. The bike was gone 2 days later. This wasn't petty theft. It was a racket, and Diane used her HOA power to scout and steal. I posted in the HOA chat. Over 25 homes on our side have lost tools, grills, and gear in the last year. Some are for sale online. Message me if you've had losses. I am compiling info for the police. The thread blew up. Neighbors shared screenshots, doorbell clips, and stories. Mike posted a Craigslist ad for his leaf blower, sold by a blonde in sunglasses. Someone uploaded a marketplace listing with my shed in the background. Diane tried to shut it down, threatening lawsuits and defamation. She deleted the thread, but screenshots spread like wildfire. I took 2 USBs to Deputy Harris at the sheriff's office, one with footage, screenshots, and statements, the other with the spreadsheet. He raised an eyebrow when I linked the burner accounts to the HOA email. You're saying the HOA president's robbing the block and selling it online? I nodded. I'm not saying it. The evidence is. He took the drives and told me to sit tight. Monday morning, 2 cruisers pulled up to Diane's house. Officers hauled out boxes, tools, bikes, even a fireplace she'd removed during a safety review. Neighbors watched, whispering. Ray called later. They'd found a spreadsheet in her home, listing items, addresses, and resale prices. My address appeared 4 times. They also found burner phones and a note. Check 214 Oak saw a generator. That generator was reported missing last spring. By evening, Channel 9 was outside, reporting HOA president accused of stealing nearly $900,000 in property. Diane was charged with theft, fraud, and abuse of authority, 12 counts. The HOA board collapsed. 3 members resigned, and the 4th quit after admitting he'd given Diane enforcement keys. We held a backyard meeting at Ellen's. 60 people crammed in with hot dogs and folding chairs. Ray outlined a class action suit. We had footage, listings, and a warehouse of stolen goods. 28 neighbors signed on. Diane's lawyer, a slick Denver attorney, dropped her after depositions. The evidence was crushing: footage, IP logs, and a community armed with PowerPoints. She was convicted on all counts, sentenced to 12 years with no parole for 7. Her house, car, and savings were seized for restitution, repaying insurers and victims. The HOA dissolved, replaced by a volunteer residents group. Ellen started a community garden where the HOA office once stood. Mike hosted tool-sharing meetups. 6 months later, the neighborhood felt alive. My mailbox now reads, "No thieves allowed," carved with a Dremel. At a block party, we wore shirts saying, "Diane stole my grill, but I got it back." Closure wasn't a parade, just relief, like exhaling after a long fight. I sealed my fence, added lights, and hung a sign: "Private property. No Diane's." What do you think about Diane's betrayal? Have you faced injustice or abuse of power in your community? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss how we stand up to those who exploit trust. Your voice matters.